We'll have a
Hey guys, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of YOMO. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. So today we are on Reflection 267 and we're on a brand new book. And I think this is not the usual book that we would dive in, but it's one of those things where inspiration can come from anywhere kind of book. So I hope that is the case.
yeah. It's a tough one. It's a fiction book for me, so fiction books are always tough. But it's called "In the Name of the Rose" by Umberto Eco. The reflection title is "Knowledge Always Finds a Way." So you obviously know the name Umberto Eco, right? This book is his most famous book, right? And it's about these Benedictine monks, and it takes place in an abbey in like the 1300s. And there's this kind of like detective monk that was sent to this abbey to go investigate some like murder, and then like this is like a murder mystery book basically. And like as he's like getting to know the people and investigating stuff, he gets sucked into like this deeper conspiracies that are going on in the abbey, and a whole lot of things that are going on. And as it says at the bottom down here, there's a bunch of these like labyrinths and stuff like that in the abbey that you find out the most interesting things happen at night in the abbey, and he has to figure it all out, right? And kind of it's like almost like a Sherlock Holmes kind of book with monks in the 13th century. It's a weird book. It wasn't bad for a fiction book. It's not that bad. The reason why I read this book is, when I first read the book The Black Swan by Nassim Taleb, he talked about Umberto Eco's anti-library, which is all the libraries, all the books in your library that you want to read, kind of thing. And that's really what it's about. It's about learning. It's about, and people say like, wow, Professor Umberto Eco, like how many, like, look at all these amazing books. Have you read all these? Like, there's two different types of people. One that asks, have you read them all? And the other ones are like, oh, I get it. Like, these are just like, this is like your research lab. This is your, your anti-library, right? So when I heard this from Nassim Taleb, we've always used the words anti-library ever since. As soon as I finished that book, I was like, who is this Umberto Eco guy anyway? So I went and looked up his book, and this is the book, right? It's sold over 50 million copies. This was his debut novel. It's like one of the most successful selling novels of all time. It comes up as in the top 50 of most successful selling novels of all time. And it's a really long book, True. It's like a 20+ hour audio book, and probably at least 800 pages. It's a long ass book. It's like one of those anomalies, like Black Swan of a book, where you're like, it doesn't make any sense why it became so popular. And I don't know that anybody can even understand it. It was well written. It was a good story. I mean, for a fiction book, I got wrapped up in it, but like there's, the only reason I read it is because Celeb recommended it. And I had a little extra time because this is in between when I was switching jobs after the dip a few weeks ago. And I realized, hey, I'm in a cul-de-sac and I need, then I left my job and I took a month off in between the roles that I'd already accepted. So I just, was running a lot, had nothing really better to do. And I had this book sitting on my own anti-library for 2 years. And every single time I wanted to go read this book, I looked at it and I was like, oh shit, that's a really long book. And I don't even like fiction. I was like, can I really do this? I even started it one time when I used to have that subscription to Scribd. I actually downloaded the book. I started it for like 20 minutes and I was like, I don't want to do this. Like it was just, I immediately was like, oh God, he's just talking about 13th century monk, shit. And I was like, I can't do this. So I stopped it. This is like 2 years ago, right? So it sat on my anti-library for like 2 years, like just menacingly staring at me going, hey, read me, I know you want to figure out what this is all about, right? So I finally pulled the trigger and decided to finish it. And shocker, what I found was I didn't really like it that much because I don't really like fiction books, But for a fiction book, it wasn't that bad. There's just something about fiction versus nonfiction and memoirs for me. Like when I'm learning, because for me, I don't read to read. I read to learn, right? Like that's my core values, learn something new every day. Like I just don't learn anything with a fiction book. If I want to be entertained, I'll just watch a show on Netflix or a movie or something like that. But for whatever reason, fiction books just do not entertain me. Like, and I don't really care to be entertained all day long. I want to learn. Like that's the fun about it for me. So like, that's why I start a nonfiction book and I'm like, oh, whoa, oh, dinosaurs are birds? Holy shit, and I'm like wrapped up in the story, whereas most people be like, you're a fucking nerd, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and books like this, I'm just like, oh God, like, it looks like I'm gotta go climb. This is exactly what we talk about all the time about when you like something versus when it's eating cake or eating the frog. Like for me,
right.
Almost every single time, I've never read a fiction book where I'm like, oh man, that was like eating the cake, like that. It's always eating the frog for me. Like when I'm consuming a fiction book, it seems like. So the reflection title for this one is Knowledge Always Finds a Way. So because this is the year of magical learning, because I did read this book and Amelia and I did enjoy it to some levels, and we wanted to share our learnings with the world. We dug deep and we pulled out a nugget to share with everybody without ruining the book, because I'm sure you'll probably never read it. But
Probably not.
if anybody ever watches this, and they want to read this book, I'm not going to ruin the book, but it revolves around a library and secrets in the library that these monks go to painstakingly lengths, i.e., even killing people, to protect. So after I finished this book, it reminded me how much knowledge. It's one of our human superpowers is to consume knowledge and then to share knowledge, just like you and I are doing right now, right? Or what I'm doing right now, I guess, and then what you'll do as soon as I'm done. Once it's out, and once you write something down, once this thing is published, it's out there in the universe, I can't take it back. And the whole point, you're not supposed to take it back, is the whole point, in my opinion. Once you have a thought and you share, and your job is to share it, with the world, share the elixir, right? If you learn something, share it with somebody else. We talked about with the kids, versus the monkeys. The monkeys might have come up with some more brilliant ideas, but they didn't share it, so their little brilliant ideas just stuck with them and it dies with them. The kids come up with maybe a somewhat okay idea, but then they go share with everybody else, and then everybody gets that knowledge, and then they all work together, and then somebody else gets another little piece of knowledge, and then we all share it together, and then we continue to grow and grow and grow together. Well, this particular book, the knowledge was being hoarded and protected, and that's what led to all the events that was in this entire book. Is all about basically somebody trying to keep knowledge out of other people's hands. They wanted it controlled, and they wanted to control the distribution of it. And they wanted to make sure that only the people that needed to see this understood it and saw it. And when that happened, a lot of other calamities start to happen, because knowledge always finds a way forward, no matter what. Knowledge can never be a reservoir. You can't dam it up. It's got to be a channel. It's got to flow through, right? You can't just stop knowledge. You can't just say, hey, who are you to say, who are any of us to say, what is knowledge that somebody else should know or not know? That may have worked, in medieval times when there truly was. Well, it never worked. Honestly, it's never worked. It may have been easier to do in medieval times. It may have been easier to do, when priests sat up in their ivory towers and they were the only ones that could read or whatever, or something along those lines. But either way, even then, knowledge still always found a way to break through. You can't stop it. Once it's out there, you cannot stop it. So this is like the laws of the universe we've talked about many and many times, right? You can either go against it or you can go with it. You can do your best to contain knowledge and to hoard it for yourself and to control the distribution of it, but it's going to require a whole lot of willpower, and I have a weird feeling you're probably going to be unsuccessful with it at the end of the day. Or you can just let it be a channel and flow through you and share it with the rest of the world, and whatever happens at that point in time, right? So that's what this book made me think about, and what Amelia and I learned on this one. So now knowledge will always find a way forward. You cannot stop it. Once it's out there, in my opinion, you just cannot stop it ever from going where it wants to go. I'd love to get your thoughts.
I feel like you're right. Knowledge is one of those things where you can't contain it. Eventually, it's going to leak out. Just like trying to cover up some light, it's going to leak out at some point. Right. But I also feel that back in 1300, people trying to control knowledge. I still think that people are even more wanting to control knowledge today, and they use different tactics today, right? So today, instead of containing knowledge, they put a blindfold over you, or they will shine a decoy light onto you. In the modern day, the way to protect the knowledge is to bombard you with non-true knowledge.
Facts.
Alternate facts, exactly. Yeah. So 1 iota of knowledge has 10 or even 100, even 1,000 alternate facts. And right. So to me, and you think about it, this is how we are being bombarded with information, and 99 out of 100, all the information we done on the internet or what we get for people is not the right one. And right. To me, it's hiding it in noise, hiding it in a bunch of other things, basically become like Finding Waldo kind of idea. So I think people are more wanting to control the knowledge today than before. But at the same time, knowledge cannot be contained, because you look at us, right? We have been blindfolded, kind of like indoctrinated into the system of whatever people want us to believe. But you and I have got to the point where we become, like a peak of what the knowledge was, and we
Right.
held on to it. That's why we are talking about whatever society is trying to tell you how to do. We need to do the opposite of it.
Right.
Because you say, hey, eat the frog. Say, why are you eating the frog? Eat the cake, right? And so there's a lot of I guess groups that have found a sliver of knowledge. And like I said, the knowledge, like you said, it can't be contained. It can be masked, but it can't be contained, because basically you say, hey, I'm going to, clone each of the knowledge, but change it slightly different. So that way you have less access to knowledge. In the 1300, what they do is they take the knowledge and they hide it, put it in a box, right?
But they literally put it in a library, and they put
right. It prevents access to it. So modern day tactic is they're not preventing you access to it. They just overwhelm you with the stuff. You don't know which one is which. So you gather the wrong knowledge.
It's almost like what is the? I see what I'm visualizing, like just knowledge floating everywhere, and you're like, I got to pick something versus, there's no knowledge, in like the 1300s, and like I see one thing and a light, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to that.
Yeah.
But like over here, there's just shit everywhere, and you're like,
exactly,
what do I pull out of this? That's actually worthwhile. So then we just step back, you're like,
and you pull out one of the alternate facts is disguised as knowledge.
You're like, what the fuck is this? And you're like, I don't want this.
Sometimes you do know that you don't want it. Sometimes you say, well, is it? You don't know. You can't tell the difference because it resembles exactly like it.
Right.
But it's not like, for example, you're talking about, hey, let's pick up a diamond versus a CZ, right? It looks exactly like. So how can you tell? The only way for people to tell is to go through it and look at all the little fancy stuff. Well, that's what I'm saying is,
you never take friendships for granted. Like, this is all I had to do was click on a button and go somewhere, and this guy is sharing his life story is this how we should live life? Like, like this story of this guy, blah, blah, blah. This tweet went viral. The reason why it's obvious as it appears. Yes, Chewy's blah, 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 blah. The social worker finds the precious gift we can offer others as our presents, and blah, 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 blah. Fitch not saw, whatever. Like, I'm saying, like,
that's from a monk, by the way.
No, it is. I know. But my point is like in the 1300s, like I just went on here for 2 seconds and I found multiple tips of how I should maybe be thinking about life.
Knowledge everywhere. I think it's been more effective for people to,
well, even alternate facts
in a way,
are knowledge.
High knowledge.
It's still knowledge. Like, it's just is the knowledge that you want. I think what you're trying to get to.
But no, we're talking about. We're talking about like let's say we're talking about eating the frog, right? That is, you think, is that knowledge?
It's knowledge. It's not knowledge that we want. Like, that you and I have decided that we want. But it's knowledge.
If I say grass is blue, is that knowledge?
Yeah.
Then it's just false knowledge.
Maybe it is right. I don't know. We just finished this book 2 days ago. Is it? I'm 98% sure that you're wrong.
But that's the thing is, the point is, because if you say it that way, then no knowledge is also knowledge.
Agreed.
Yeah, right? Contained knowledge isn't possible then.
No, that's my whole point. Is like, if you try to stop knowledge from getting to.
But I guess the premise of the book, to control the knowledge, it doesn't make sense at all, because
but it does, because some people think that certain knowledge is so important that only certain people should know it and should protect it. Like, that's like saying that, like, if
like eating a frog,
the happiness
right?
hypothesis. But let's just say if eating the frog was the single piece of knowledge that everybody knew in this world, that a few people in this world knew, that was like,
right,
if you want to be the successful,
happy,
or the most happy human,
whatever,
it's eat the frog. So I'm gonna go lock that shit away just for my private group to distribute to who we want to go distribute that to. Like, it's not possible. Like, that's what I'm trying to say, is like, it's certain types of knowledge people for forever have wanted to protect and to control distribution of that. Like, even religion, right? I mean, look at the Catholic Church. Like, the priests are the ones that could read these books and could share whatever was going on. And like, people would come to them and they would say, this is the knowledge that you're telling me. You're giving me the secrets, and I want to know the secrets. But now, to your point, like, you can find secrets anywhere, all day, every day. Like, secrets are everywhere. Like, now it's what secret is actually what you actually care about.
Example, you go on the net, and then internet says, what's the secret to become a successful blah, 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 right? You get like,
I'm sure
5 million hits.
Let's see here. What's the secret to happiness?
323 million hits.
Take your pick where you want to. What knowledge you want? You want 20 secrets? You want 10 secrets? Do you
want 12 secrets?
So like, this would have been only one monk would have known, or maybe a handful of monks would have known this that lived in the Vatican or something like that, of what they thought the theory was at that point in time. Or maybe Jesus shared some dogma to somebody, like, and they only wanted to share that little tiny piece of information. My point is, like, eventually, I don't care how long it takes, that knowledge will eventually, like, for humanity to continue to move forward in this world, like, we have to share, and we have to decide for ourselves what is knowledge that we want and knowledge that we don't want, and that's up to you to filter through your values, in my opinion, and your purpose. But you get to be the filter. Like, nobody else should be your filter. Nobody else should tell you what you can and cannot learn, in my opinion.
Right, and I think that's the beauty of having, I guess, a country that allows you to do that. But in the other country, like China, in the Asian countries, whatnot, and even in the Middle East as well, all of the information has been filtered by a
Has it?
Yes.
No, I understand. Do you think that those people are never, at some point in time, do you think that the people of China, whether it be this century, next century, 500 years from now, do you really think that at some point in time, those people will not be able to consume whatever knowledge they want to consume when they want to consume it at some point in time in the world, in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think they will, because the knowledge cannot be contained forever. I agree, but there are attempts to do that.
And they never have worked. Has it ever worked where somebody has contained knowledge in the
right? Because there's nothing that no one can keep a secret, because whatever secret it happens in history, somebody has some kind of account of it, whether it's the kings or the royal palace or whatever. It's somebody is retelling the story, because we are compelled to share the knowledge, and so regardless of how hidden
what's the point if you don't share?
Secrets is gonna come out. That's why.
What's the point if you don't share? This is like, hey, True, I have a secret. I'm a trillionaire. Like you said before, like, what's the point of being a trillionaire if you can never tell anybody or never spend your money? Like, like what? There is no point to a secret.
If you don't share, you're not human.
Not only that, you're an idiot. Like, it's like there's theories
you can't be developed. You can't, as a human being, you can't.
There's literal remember in Sapiens when he talked about there's literal theories out there that language only started because we wanted to gossip, because we had knowledge we wanted to share about another human being, and we had to share it. We were compelled. Like, I mean, like, it's like, what is the fucking point? I don't know. Maybe my dog is the most brilliant. Maybe my dog knows everything there is to know about this world, but
it can't communicate with you, right? And it can't tell another dog, right? So it can't tell a single soul. He knows everything, but it can't say. This is the worst thing. Just like, imagine you can hear, but you can't speak. That is the worst state you can be in, because you can hear what people talk about.
Can you write? Can you write?
No, you can't write. You can't communicate back. You can receive, but you can't broadcast.
You can't, like, tap. You can't learn Morse code or something. Like, you can't.
Blah blah. It helps, right? But it's still going to be very, very difficult for you to maintain that state. And it is the worst if you can receive, but you can't broadcast, because you can receive all the bashing to whatever, and it may take you off, like, to the highest level, but you can't do anything to ease it or to stop it, to counter it. That is the worst that I imagine you can do. So imagining be a trillionaire, but you can't tell a single soul. You can't broadcast that to anyone, and no one will receive it.
It's awful. No, I mean, like, if I didn't have you and Amelia to do this stuff with every single day, like, I don't know that I would still be doing this. I love learning it, and I love the feeling for myself of going, oh my God, dinosaurs are birds? Like, they can breathe. They get oxygen when they take a breath in and when they exhale. I might be putting together all the pieces of the world, but, like, I don't have anybody even talk to about
learning is not a one-step process.
Right. It's iterative.
Because the thing is, you found a nugget of knowledge, but then you can't share it with me or with anyone who cares. that learning becomes like it doesn't fulfill its cycle, so that learning doesn't stick, right?
Well, then protecting it too is the worst. Like, I mean, it would be like, what am I protecting? Like, I mean, do I go my whole entire life like telling everybody like
This
I
is
know
why it
everything?
is so hard to keep a secret.
This is the whole point of this reflection. Basically, is it's like impossible. Like, eventually, people will find out. Like, I mean, there is just no way. Like,
It's not about finding out. It's about people are going to blurt it
you want to
out.
tell so like, oh my god, man, it is like wildly known in my family. Like, don't ever tell me a secret because like I am the worst. Like, I'm like, if my wife like makes fun of me all the time because when I ever buy her a gift for birthdays or anniversaries, I'm like,
Like,
as soon as
sure
it
no.
arrives, I'm like, do you want to know what your gift is? And she's like, no, I don't. I'm like, you sure? You sure? You sure you don't? You sure you don't? I sure you don't. Like, every day I'm like, you want to know? But do you want to know? Do you want to know? Do you want to know? And then eventually she's like, fine, just tell me. Just fucking tell me. Like, and I'm like, okay, all right. Surprise parties, birthday parties, like, my friends tell me a secret and they're like they just know, don't tell Chris the secret. Because it's like, I'll be like, yeah, I won't tell anybody. And then like 5 minutes later, I'll be like, look, I can't tell you this, but so-and-so did something, you can make your own decisions after that. And then it gets back to them.
You already spill half the beans.
Right, exactly. Like
I can't tell you who it is, but that someone with this color hair, with this kind of, you describe the whole person.
one of my best friends, when he had his first son, his name was him and his wife picked out two names they really really liked, and we were down at my parents' lake house with like me and like four of my friends. This is like a couple years ago now, and he was like we were asking him like, do you have a name picked out? They were like 6 months long, and he was like, yeah, we got some names, and he's like, what am I gonna tell you guys? And I was like, fuck that. Like, I was like, yeah you are. And we all were like, yeah, look, like, you don't have to tell us, but we're gonna guess. You don't give us any tips, but if we get it, like, you gotta tell us if we got it. We put together a detective group of the five of us and started asking every question we could think of about what type of name it is, narrowing it down. All of a sudden, we got it. We got the fucking name, and his name was Graham. That's what he was gonna name his son. And he was like, God damn it, how'd you guys fucking figure this out? So we figured it out, but he was like, you cannot fucking tell anybody. He was like, I confirm, especially do not let my wife know. Like, do not let my wife know that I told you, because I promised her that I would never tell anybody.
But he promised her he won't tell you.
Right.
Down, I think he wants to tell.
Oh, he wanted to tell so bad. Right. He let us peer pressure him into finally, getting the answer right. So my wife was down there with us, obviously, and was like having fun playing this game with us, and over the next following few months, like whenever I'd run into any of our other friends, I'd be like, when like I think I would kept saying like schmam or something like that, and my wife was like, look at me like, you can't, what are you fucking doing? And I'm like, I didn't say the name. I just said like schmam, it rhymes with schmam, I probably did that.
Itching to scratch, It's like how you had chicken pox, and instead of scratching, you would rub it. So it was like, schmam.
Right. I never told anybody. I promise. I swear to God, I never said the name Graham to any single living soul, but I definitely alluded to it like probably at least 7 times.
Right. You have an itchy to scratch, but you say, hey, you rub it.
But this is the point. It's like nobody can hold a secret back. Like even something as stupid and trivial as the name of your child. Like your unborn child. Like it's yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. What would be the point of this whole entire journey if I never shared this with anybody and yourself? And
what's the point of being a human if you can't share with anybody? You would be the most miserable human being, because you are not allowing yourself to do something it is in your nature to do. It is in your nature to share the knowledge. This is why discovery and sharing is so rooted in our core that we cannot survive with it, because we basically crumble and die from inside. I mean, you become so repressed. This is the reason why when you were talking to somebody, it gives you energy, but when you suppress it, it takes so much energy just to hold it. Like containing an atomic bomb, it takes so much energy to do just that. And frankly, most people don't have that kind of energy.
That's a lot of willpower and a lot of eating the frog, and like, I mean, I don't want to spend my entire life, like, hell, like one of the best determining factors of a company you want to work at and not want to work at is if they share knowledge. Like if everybody knows what's going on, like, and if they don't, then run away. Cause it's like, I mean, eventually that shit will crumble. Like, I mean, like it's just like, you cannot maintain contain knowledge in just the executive leadership team. Like, who the fuck are they? Like, I mean, who gives a shit? Like, what do you think? You guys are so smart that you're the only ones that can figure out like how to solve, whatever the challenges of our go-to-market strategy. There's plenty of smart people out there.
That point though, if you start a company and you do everything, you won't be successful because you're too busy doing stuff that you're not well qualified.
You're hoarding all the knowledge.
It's not the cake that you're eating, because I mean, there's something you like to do, but to run a company, there's so many different things you have to do to make the engine run.
Right.
And as a person, you only have a preference for one or a few things, not everything. So if you think that, hey, you can hoard the knowledge or you can't share the knowledge, and well, how the rest of the system gonna function? So share the knowledge is pertinent to a successful company. I mean, in my opinion, if you use it, if you going to have people working inside the company.
Look at the CIA and the FBI. How much doubt is there in those institutions? 100%. Why? Because they're knowledge hoarders. Like we all look at it and we're like, well, if you fucking know, just tell us. Like, like, I mean, we're not idiots. Like, it's not like those are the secret institutions of America, right? Like, and none of us trust them. And do you think that they're going to be around in like, what's the first institution that's going to go? Like, if America crumbles, I'm sure it's probably shit like that, right? It's not the open court system.
This is the weakness of America.
Mm-hmm.
The weakness of America is the CIA and the National Security Agency. Those are the weakness, because for the American system to collapse, they have to infiltrate those agencies, and they will, right?
Yep.
That because you can't infiltrate from outside. You just can't, because because the problem is, let's say you come into America. We as Americans have freedom of speech. We are passing on this knowledge so fast, so rapid, that they before they can blink, we will grab them by the neck, right? So the only way for them to infiltrate America and steal America, it is through these agencies, because agencies like, hey, you work for a boss, but you don't trust him because he could be the enemy. And then your boss don't trust you because you could be the enemy.
I mean, how many books and movies have been written about that shit? Like the CIA and the FBI. Like, why we write them? Because we're like, that's not human. Like, the movies that are like so successful and books like this, maybe that's why Name of the Rose is so successful, because it's like, what? Like, this isn't how humans behave. Like, and it's like, what we love to see the freak show, we're like, oh yeah. Like, it's always interesting. What if you did keep a secret? Because we're not supposed to. Like, it's this is the whole point. Is like, that's why we love movies about the CIA. It's why we love shows like Homeland. Think about all the shows like that have been written, like detective movies and spy movies and James Bonds. We all want to think that MI6 or whatever is like, you get my point. Like, those are some of the most famous books and movies. Sherlock Holmes, like, he's the keeper of all the knowledge. Sherlock Holmes, knows stuff that you don't know, and like that's fascinates us, because it should be.
Because it's not what we understand as to be the natural way of things. So we are curious. Like, what do you mean by that? Because if it's understood and it's common sense, like, okay, I already know. There's nothing for me to wait and see what happens, right? And so that's the reason why these books have become popular. But at the same time, it becomes a double-edged sword, because people think, because they watch so many of these things, they think that's the way things supposed to work. And then whatever they have naturally been able to acquire, they start to doubt what they do, right? When you go to the workplace, right, people treat you like shit, and you say, well, that's what it's supposed to be. It is what it is. This is what we keep saying to people, right? It is what it is. Oh, okay, I didn't know that we were supposed to do that. I thought that was that was common.
To be nice to people. Yeah. I thought I was supposed to be a homo puppy.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's because you think about, like, right now everybody is, hey, I want to be a fucking princess. I want to be this. You can't everybody be a princess. You can't everybody be a leader, right? Because if everybody become a leader, right, who's gonna follow? Who's a follower, right? And so that's the thing, is all these books and all these schools are starting to teach people. It's like I told you, in my daughter's curriculum, they have this leadership class. Everybody has to take. It's like, what if you don't want to be a leader? Why you have to take a leadership class?
Is there a follower? Is there a follower class? Like how to be a great follower?
No, there's no follower class. There's just only leadership class, right?
That's funny.
And so,
you should start a follower class. You know, like what the hell's a follower class? You know, like how to be submissive and just take.
We are doing that already. Yeah. It's cool.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, all right.
Yeah. But leadership class,
right? Exactly. In the leadership class, you need to follow. You know.
Yes, you need to follow.
The leadership class should literally be like nobody shows up because you're like I'm doing my thing. You know, like what do you want? What are you going to teach me, bitch? You know.
If I'm taking leadership class, I'm not showing up because I'm not following.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not following. And then I get a bad grade.
I wonder what would happen if you did that. If I was your professor, I'd be like,
this is leadership class.
That's a leader. That's a leader move.
That's a leader. Right. Yes, leader move. What are you talking about? This is what we're supposed to learn, right?
Yeah.
Not to follow. What's the point of leadership class if you have to follow?
Great point. What's the point of going to an entrepreneurial class? There's entrepreneurial majors now in college.
Really?
Yeah, you can major in entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
I mean, is that not
comical to me? But
there's a class on how to invent. You know,
no, Chris. It's not only the class; it's actually a fucking major now.
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah.
It's like you get a bachelor in entrepreneurship.
Yes, no. I mean, it's
not just a class; it's like a major.
What is an
entrepreneurship major?
It is prepares students for the intricacies of planning, launching, and leading a new business with focus and creativity on innovation, new venture planning, enterprise finance, and managing the growing new business. Plan to launch a new business with focus on innovation and new venture. Yeah, it sounds great. Mm-hmm. I mean, show me how. Like, oh yeah, well, I mean, good lord. Like, I mean, like that's
it depends on you, you know, based on your decisions, your business plan, blah blah blah, right? It's all these caveat of depends.
Well, what they're teaching you really is how to go into the VC system, I'm sure, and making sure that you can raise funds and how to navigate that world.
How to create a business plan, how to build a pitch deck, how to present, right?
How to do what everybody wants you to do, and
how to follow, right?
How to follow
how to follow a blueprint. Because the thing is, the notion of entrepreneurship, entrepreneur is about creativity and innovations. When you go and you take a class, you follow a blueprint, it basically contradicts that concept.
What is a entrepreneur definition?
You mean a manager?
A person who undertakes a project, a person who organizes and operates a business, takes on greater than normal financial risk.
When the definition of entrepreneur, they have changed it to the meaning, I'm a fucking business manager.
Right.
It's just fucking business manager. You're a business manager. It's like you organize.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a business management degree at that point in time. Like that's already been.
You just rename it. So
you're right.
You go and you pay a bunch of money to school.
To be an entrepreneur.
To be an entrepreneur, right?
I don't know about you. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many MBAs out there that doesn't use an MBA at all. It's like, what's the point of going and getting an MBA?
Oh, it's worthless. Like, especially with the age of or the speed of way business evolves at this point in time with new technologies. Your degree is irrelevant probably within a year of you receiving a degree from business school. I mean, it's going that fast. I mean, it's like, what's the point? It's like being a CS major. Who cares what you learned in school? It's like, really, are you evolving with whatever's going on in the real world practical applications?
That's why a lot of CS major are not very good programmers.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason why is because they are not naturally logical, right? So because there is a what you call like an over demand in those fields. So that whenever kids sees it, they go into the major. But the majority of CS major, they are not fitted because think about if you have to sit there and you look at code. I mean, talk about code. It's just like it's not picture. It's just code. It's just symbols. Okay.
Right.
Imagine a person sitting at a computer for 10 to 16 hours a day looking at fucking code, which is like cryptic symbols. How many people can do that? How many people wants to do that?
No, I don't want to do that.
That's why the thing is, I don't care what kind of university teaches you how to program. You cannot program because you're not built. You don't have the gene to do this. Right. This is the reason why most CS major are not good programmers, because the only thing they can do is just follow some instructions.
Yeah. They go to the library of code that somebody else has built, and they probably just plug it in, and when they get stumped, they're
And-
like, "Oh, well, I don't know what to do
they
now."
plug it in, and it still doesn't work, and they say, "Well,
Right.
fuck that." I mean, this is when I've come across many projects that it has been ongoing for like years, and they can't fix it. So
Right.
that's why I'm really good at doing remedial work, because
Right.
people can't fix it. I go and they say
I don't think that's the right word. It's not remedial. You're
recovery.
Yeah, remedial I think is like means like low level. Is it, well, maybe not. No. All right. I guess that could apply. What does it mean to be remedial in school? It addresses learning gaps by reteaching basic skills. I don't know. Maybe that works. All right.
But
Yeah.
the word remedial,
Right.
by my sense of definition, it is to provide a solution after something has fallen,
Right.
to
Remediate. Yeah.
to remediate, exactly, to remediate. So the thing is, remedial teaching is like the you are trying to get that person back up
Right.
to where it's normal, because that person has fallen. So if you are acting remedially, that means you are trying to get them back. But if you are needing remediate, that means you have fallen. So depending on the perspective of what you're talking about. So that's why I think, I say it's remedial.
It makes sense. It applies. Okay, well, I gotta pump the brakes. I know we're way past where we wanted to go tonight, and I need to go to bed. But as always, God damn it, True. Like it's like, I even said before this conversation, I was like, we'd probably make this one pretty quick. And
I didn't believe you.
Of course we didn't. Of course it was a fun conversation. And it's clearly why we keep doing this. Are you a knowledge reservoir or a channel? Are you a secret keeper? Or are you the person that nobody wants to tell a secret to? I would rather be the person that no one wants to tell a secret to. Well, you don't want to be that person either, because then you don't learn anything. But you definitely want to share, though.
Yeah, I want to know. Okay, so if there's something you don't want me to pass on, don't tell me.
Exactly.
So, because I'm not going to constrain limit my being.
Yeah, you know what? Shame on them for making me feel uncomfortable. That's not cool. If you share something with somebody, you should be like, tell everyone. Yes.
But it's just like, hey, you have seen something. Now you need to stay in your home and stay there until whenever the secret's no longer needed. Like, that's essentially what you're doing. You are locking yourself inside a room, and you're never coming out. That's the feeling that I get when I'm thinking about keeping a secret. Right? I can't do it. Even though I'm an introvert, I cannot keep a secret.
Agreed. And nor should you. So I think
And
that's
I don't want to. I have learned that I don't want to keep it. I don't want to eat the frog. I don't want to constrain myself. It make a big difference between, how happy you are, regardless of what you have or where you're at in your life. Having those perspectives changes the outlook on life.
Agreed. I think it's a great place to put a pin in this for the night. We are taking a 1-week hiatus due to travel plans, even though I'll be sad to not do this next week. We'll see you all in 2 Mondays from now. Thanks for joining, and talk again soon.
All right. See you.